Nobody's perfect and everybody makes mistakes, even on the job. But when you know your work will be scrutinized by millions of people, it's important to make sure you can stand behind it 100%. Sometimes, despite everyone's best efforts, tiny mistakes slip through the cracks, and once you know them, they cannot be unseen. These are Screen Rant's 10 Disney movie mistakes that slipped past you. The Jungle Book. The live-action 2016 remake of Disney's classic The Jungle Book is made of pure Hollywood magic, also known as CGI. The story follows Mowgli, a young boy raised by animals in the jungle. And since we haven't figured out how to train real animals to speak English, computer-generated ones take their place. Director Jon Favreau has stated that his focus was always on the realism of the animals, and for the most part, he succeeds. But when the majority of audience members found themselves wrapped up in the action, a few began to wonder something simple. How come the raindrops don't splash off the characters? Star Wars: The Force Awakens. It's very possible that the Star Wars films are some of the most scrutinized on Earth. The space opera has an intensely loyal fan base, but that doesn't mean they won't notice the plethora of continuity errors in 2015's The Force Awakens. While a lot of the goofs are tiny and wardrobe-related, there's one instance that's hard to overlook. In the intense interrogation scene with Kylo Ren, very visible tears roll down Rey's face, but when the camera changes angles, they're completely gone. If you missed it the first time around, we don't blame you. It's a pretty powerful moment in the film. But now that you know, keep your eyes peeled for it. Finding Dory. Octopuses are super smart, they have 3 hearts, and they're one of the oldest living species on the planet. It's no wonder why the people behind Finding Dory would want to include one in their movie. And while he's technically the same species, Hank refers to himself as a septopus instead, because he only has 7 arms. Except, that's not really possible. Because another thing that makes octopuses cool is their real-life ability to regenerate lost limbs. Looks like Hank's gonna have to find another way to stand out from the crowd.
They're having a party without me.
Wreck-It Ralph. Computer animation is a beautiful thing, and Disney continues to be a pioneer in the field. In 2012, they took the opportunity to show off a little with Wreck-It Ralph. If you've ever wondered what characters inside video games do after the arcade closes, this is the movie for you. Packed with cameos, the film shows Ralph interacting with characters from a few different franchises. But when he finds out that the ones from his own game are celebrating without him, he takes it out on the cake. Except there isn't actually any cake anywhere. Sure, we see the icing go flying, but shouldn't there be some cake with it too? Cinderella. Let's be honest, we've all dreamed of having a fairy godmother. The thought of a sweet old lady showing up and fixing all the world's problems is a nice one, however far-fetched. Of course, the most notorious fairy godmother is Cinderella's. After living way too long under the rule of her heinous stepmother, Cinderella catches herself a husband at the royal ball. The dresses worn by Disney princesses are always iconic, and Cinderella's is no exception. But if you take a closer look, you'll notice that the wedding dresses don't exactly match up. In some frames it has long sleeves, but in others it's short with long gloves. Given how many kids grow up using this movie as inspiration for their future weddings, this could be a very important detail.
She's the one! The lucky girl I'm going to marry.
Beauty and the Beast. You've heard the stories. No one's as slick as Gaston, no one's as quick as Gaston, and in a spitting match, nobody spits like Gaston. Despite all this, Belle from 1991's Beauty and the Beast does not want to marry Gaston. He chases her around the house after his failed proposal, but falls through the doorway and into the mud. Both when he enters and exits the house, the door opens to the outside. But when it cuts back to show Belle placing his boots outside, it's clearly opening inward. Given that an entire team of people were responsible for the animation, it's surprising to see this continuity error.
So, how'd it go?
Tron Legacy. A movie anchored in the world of video games has a lot to work with, and 2010's Tron Legacy has even more going for it. Being a sequel to the 1982 original, Legacy had a built-in fanbase. With original actors returning to reprise their roles, Daft Punk signed on to do the music, and 21st century graphics, the film had something for everyone, including gaming historians. As Flynn walks through an arcade that had supposedly been locked up in 1989, some sharp viewers spotted Mortal Kombat. And while that may not seem like a big deal, it's actually a pretty glaring oversight, since that title wasn't released until 1992, 3 years after the arcade closed. Given its intense focus on gaming, we're surprised this one slipped through the movie's cracks.
Hey, would you look at that?
Inside Out. In 2015, Disney and Pixar set out to illuminate the inner workings of a young girl's mind, and the result is amazing. Inside Out tells the story of Riley, a kid learning to cope after her family moves to San Francisco. Thankfully, she has some very well-intentioned emotions to guide her along the way, but it wouldn't be a Disney movie if there wasn't some heartbreaking tension, and as 2 of the characters try to intervene, they find themselves in need of a shortcut. Bing Bong incorrectly interprets the danger sign as saying shortcut,
D-A-N-G-E-R, shortcut.
Joy and sadness follow him, but at a different point in the movie, Sadness talks about having read some manuals. So if she can read, why didn't she say anything about the sign? WALL-E. In a scary vision of the future where humans have abandoned Earth, one little robot named WALL-E works to pick up the garbage. He also falls in love with a lady robot named Eve, and through an interesting twist of fate ends up in space. The whole thing is actually pretty adorable, and even has the show tunes to match. But it's not perfect. One scene where WALL-E is flying through space shows the stars twinkling in the background. While the effect adds some whimsy, it's not scientifically sound. Stars appear to twinkle in the night sky because of changes in the Earth's atmosphere. But if we were to look at them from space, in the absence of any atmosphere, their light would remain constant.
Oh, hey, do me a favor, grab my butt. Oh, that feels better.
Frozen. It's not easy to write a song, never mind a song fit for a Disney princess. But for years, the company has been churning out musical after musical and finding only success. Their soundtracks have always been strong sellers, but in 2013, audiences lost their collective mind with the release of Frozen. Quickly reaching the top of the charts, the soundtrack was full of original music. It was so popular that even people who hadn't seen the movie knew all the words to Let It Go. And while the tune may be catchy, it's not exactly accurate. The movie is set in the 17th century, but the song references the word fractals, which wasn't utilized until 1975. If you think that's a little nitpicky, feel free to let it go. And if you like the videos we make, then you're going to love another awesome YouTube channel called Wisecrack. Click here or the link in the description to be taken to Wisecrack's channel page, where you can find their hilarious and super smart breakdowns of movies, TV shows, and video games. If you're looking for something to watch, check out their episode where an alien dives into the hidden meaning of Zootopia. It's a really funny and insightful look at one of our favorite new Disney movies. Make sure you subscribe while you're there and tell them Screen Rant sent you. What do you think of our list? Did we miss any other Disney mistakes? Tell us about them in the comments and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this one.